Hello and welcome back to Aetheral Space 8.15, The Green Man. The Green Man, even. We are back.
He's here. Yes, welcome back to Aetheral Space. It feels so good to read it again. I had a little bit of a conniption because the latest chapter released before I got to read it. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to know more than you inferiors, you mortals.
Oh my god,
so
he's
we're
taking out his
correcting that
weaponry.
now. Yeah. I'm putting it back down, though, because I want to read. And
His
it's
broadsword and gun.
So, last time on Aetheral Space...
Surely he remembers what happened last time.
And that's what happens.
So,
Who's
yes.
Susan again?
Susan is one of the dead hands. She and January were going down to where the refugees are to try and infect people, but the room was empty, bar Skipper.
Oh, that's right, and he was going Skipper mode. He was so angry. And what was the other thing going on? Dragon just defeated the one dude, right?
He sort of more escaped.
Yeah.
To the other guy, he looked like he got incinerated, but he Gemini worlded out and came back on top of the cell.
He won the psychological battle. But I think that's also a hint, right? Because the fact that he thought Dragon was incinerated despite having similar powers means fire's the key. Also, subtly, I'm changing a Sudan in your chapter to Susan for you. It was this one. It said Sedan, like the car. You might want to double check that back on the Royal Road version later, as well as any other edits. That's the other reason I'm always nervous when you post a Royal Road before we read it, because I'm like, I know there's going to be some errors in there. I just know. All right, you ready?
That I am.
All right, I forgot to get water, but it's only a 6-pager, so let's do this. Susan yelped as her back hit the wall of the elevator, shaking the capsule. January struck next to her, spread eagle against the steel surface. What had happened? It was like a massive invisible fist had hit her, sent her flying backwards. An aether ability from the Green Man, without a doubt. But what kind of attack was it? There hadn't been so much as a rippling of the air to give the game away. She went to lift her rifle, to blast the man's brains out before he could attack again. But too late. A second blow hit her, sending her into the wall again. Pain flared through her body as countless bones broke and began to repair themselves. The Green Man kept his hands in his pockets as he strolled casually forwards, boots thumping against the polished floor. His demeanor was carefree, but his expression was anything but. The shadows that stretched under his eyes were such that they left no doubt as to his intentions. "You know," he said, drawing closer, "I've been putting a lot of thought into you guys. You, repurposed." He said the word as if he was tasting it. "You guys can come back from pretty much everything, yeah?" Bang! Susan and January were sent flying back into the wall again. The intervals between attacks was decreasing, all but holding them in place. There was a sickening crunch from January with impact, and his head lolled forward. That attack must have broken his neck. He'd be unable to move for a few seconds then. Bang! Susan tried to pull herself off the wall at a bad moment, and the attack that came in answer made her arm bend the wrong way as she was sent back again. Broken bone, dripping with red aether, protruded from her elbow. The pain was nearly unbearable, but Susan simply gritted her teeth. She wouldn't give this dirty crownless the satisfaction. "I could blow your head off," the man continued to explain, "and you just get up a few seconds later. Yeah, tough cookie. So I've been putting a lot of thinking into how I'm going to take care of you." Bang! Susan was sent back into the wall again, now leaving a substantial indentation, her face forced into the metal with such speed and force that one of her massive multi-eyeballs burst from the impact. That made her scream. Bang! "I thought about maybe impaling you, to capture you and whatnot." The Green Man took one hand off his pocket, rubbing the back of his neck. "But that kind of seemed like a half measure, you know what I mean? No offense, but what I really want is for you to be dead, as soon as possible." Bang! "Then I got this little idea." Bang! Susan's jaw collapsed in on itself, her body crumpling like folded paper against the wall. Her rifle was a hunk of useless scrap, sparks flowing like grain out of the snapped barrel. The Green Man was standing right in the doorway of the elevator now, but Susan was powerless to reach him. Even the slightest movement was met with another attack. He brushed a stray lock of black hair out of his face. "You guys regenerate, yeah? Grow back whenever we take away. But I'm willing to bet you still need some sort of, central mass to regenerate from, you know?" Bang! A low, pained sound was echoing out of January's helmet, like the whoops of dying livestock. Susan went to open her mangled jaw to say something, but the only thing that flowed out was blood and flattened organs. I just find it hard to believe that paste can regenerate. Yeah. The green man grinned without humor, his eyes pinpricks of malice. So I'm giving it a little go. You say I had a dragon for me, yeah? A lot of yas, Skipper. That's how you know Skipper's angry. He starts bringing out the yas. It took everything she had, but Susan managed to force strangled words through her wreckage of a mouth. Who the hell is... The green man stepped forward into the elevator. Artbait landmine, he said. Artbait landmine, he said. Artbait landmine, he said. Dragon coughed, pulling the security uniform onto his body to preserve what was left of his dignity. North waited atop the quarantine cell, legs swinging carefree off the side. So, he said, scratching his cheek with he said, scratching his cheek with a finger. You ain't a normal human, huh? Not with healing like that. Dragon looked away as he laced up the combat boots. Apparently not. North raised an eyebrow. How'd that happen? No clue, Dragon lied. I woke up and I was just like this. He winced as the imaginary shouting of Pan echoed throughout the room. Lying dead boy! She cried aghast. You do know! You do! North dropped off the quarantine cell with feline grace, landing with barely a sound. Seems to me you're the same sort of thing as that faceless freak, he ventured. Repurposed, right? Doesn't feel like I've got much purpose, Dragon muttered as he stood up, driving the dead guard's stun pistol into his new holster. How about you? What's your purpose? North smirked. To spread love and joy wherever I go, of course. No, what is your purpose here? You said you'd help me get back to the crew if I help you. What is it you want from me? The playful smile on North's face faded, and his gaze drifted up to the ceiling, like he could see through it. There's a room up there, he said quietly. It's a skyscraper. That's to be expected. Don't be an ass, North snapped, and the sudden and genuine sincerity in his voice was enough to shut Dragon up for a moment. There's a room up there under top security. Serious lock and key shit. I need to get in there for my job, take a look around. You help me out, I help you out. Capiche? Dragon tightened his mouth to a thin line. And where's Skipper and the others in all this? North shrugged. Last I checked, they were downstairs with the rest of the refugees. And there it was. Dragon gave a smirk of his own, and a dismissive wave of the hand. The thing you want is up, and the thing I want is down. You see the conflict of interests here. North paused, and it took Dragon only a moment to recognize that he was too still, too calm. No doubt he just switched places with a hologram and was now moving around the room invisibly. Dragon made sure to give no sign that he'd realized. We had a deal, North growled. You owe me. Dragon kept his eyes fixed on the hologram, staring it down as he replied. The last time we met, you almost got me killed. Now you've helped me bust out of jail. I'm struggling to see the part of this exchange where I now owe you something? Danger infested North's tone, the bedrock beneath his carefree facade. I can do some nasty stuff, you know, he said, as casually as if he were discussing the weather. You'll be surprised at the sorts of things that can happen to your brain just from looking at stuff. Seizures are just the start of it. Real nasty business. So you're threatening me? The hologram blinked out of existence, giving Dragon leave to look around for where North had ended up. No luck. He was still invisible. The Umbran's voice echoed throughout the room. Yeah, I guess I am threatening you. Funny how that works out, huh? Dragon crossed his arms. Not gonna cut it, he addressed the chamber. You know how my Gemini world works? You can't show me anything if I'm not here, North. I have the advantage. You got a point there, you got a point. But I still got another trick up my sleeve. Dragon's eyes darted around the room, trying to track the source of North's voice. But it was no good. And what's that? He asked cautiously. I've shown you Mr. Stick, North said. Now meet Mr. Carrot. There was a flicker of lights as North reappeared, and Dragon nearly jumped out of his skin. The Umbrant was leaning over Dragon's shoulder, staring right into his eyes, a triumphant grin tugging at his lips and exposing his teeth. Their proximity was such that their faces were only inches from each other. Oh, devil-over-the-shoulder imagery. You help me, North promised, and I'll tell you what Skipper's plan is. Bruno winced as he turned the battered helmet over in his hands, doing his best not to stare at the red and pink slurry that poured free. It looked like Skipper had been right. Completely crushing these repurposed did seem to suffice to put them down for good. It looked like, in order to regenerate, they needed some stable central mass to grow forth from. Get rid of that, and they die just like anyone else. Put them in the hydraulic press, Bruno. Can Bruno do that with a shield, like hydraulic press them down with pressure?
Under very specific circumstances, if they were already like stuck in place and he slowly did it, yes, but he couldn't, he couldn't like slam because the shield would just fucking break.
Right. It would have to be a slow thing.
Yeah.
You're sure they're not coming back? Ruth called from inside the ruined elevator. The module was useless now, thanks to Skipper crushing the two enemies between it and his landmine. But the other elevator would still be working. Yeah, Bruno replied, looking down at the tatters of what might have once been an eyeball. They're fucked. So they're dead, or... Fair enough. Fucked was a much more neutral description when it came to the repurposed. Yeah, they're as dead as it gets. This is gross, Bruno! Serena protested as Bruno glanced down at the puddle of human. Let's do something else! Can't, Bruno muttered. Orders are orders. Oh no, Bruno, no! His gaze returned to the second elevator, or the space where it had been previously, before Skipper had taken it up. Make sure the refugees keep to the side rooms, he'd told them, after dispatching the two repurposed. Keep them safe, and if any more of these things make it down here, you take a page out of my book, yeah. Easier said than done. Ruth could shred to no end with those claws of her, and Bruno was no slouch in a fight either, but he couldn't imagine either of them eviscerating an enemy like Skipper just had. Sometimes, that man scared him. You all right, a toy? Musashi groaned as he returned to consciousness, feeling the weight of debris being lifted off his body. His eyes fluttered open and immediately widened in surprise. Marie had taken on a humongous, hulking form, all hardened bone and bulging biceps, every inch of exposed muscle displaying utter power. The room around her was a mess, burn marks scorching the walls and floor, and when Musashi looked down at himself, he saw that he was drenched in human blood, not his own. Drenched in human blood, not his own. Immediately, his hand went to luminescence, the weight of the blade reassuring. Hang on, I lost my place because of... Whoops. Good. It hadn't been damaged. Luminescence being damaged was the very worst-case scenario. What happened? He grunted, rising on unsteady feet. With a fluid flex of her body, Marie returned to her normal human form, hair still sticking out in every direction. The asshole set off a grenade. I only just managed to get in the way and shield you. It was a close one. Musashi looked down at his crimson-painted clothing. A suicide attack. He thought his enemy had more pride than that. Marie shook her head. No corpse. I'm guessing he healed and made a retreat. What now? We go after him? The battle was incomplete, to be sure. Musashi's hand tightened around Luminescence's hilt, and he slowly shook his head. No, he sighed, turning away, and suddenly feeling the exhaustion and pain of the battle all at once. No, the night is done. Marie slowly nodded, but the sarcastic comment Musashi would have usually expected never came. He took a deep breath as he sat down on the floor. I don't mean to be vulgar, Marie, he said, a rueful smile coming to his face, but I really need a damn nap. Oh my god! They're changing each other! They're becoming more like each other!
Musashi thinks damn swearing.
I mean, hey, for Musashi, this is a big step. And Marie didn't say something sarcastic. Dude, they're changing each other for the better. This is great. I had a question, by the way. I didn't want to interrupt the flow, but it wasn't really relevant since I got mashed to paste. But I'm curious, because like, if you didn't know, when a bone breaks, usually when it heals, it's stronger because like it calcifies more. Is that the case when a repurposed grows a bone or a body part, or is it just like as if it made a fresh new body part?
It's just a fresh new one. It sort of bypasses normal human healing.
And what is your Aetheral Space fun fact for this week?
My Aetheral Space fun fact for the week. This week's fun fact is Serena likes sweets, but Bruno hates them, and they make him sick when he has them.
I feel like that's the most obvious fact of all time. Is that Serena prefers sweets and Bruno prefers salty snacks? All right.
Basic.
Well, thank you for that. Very, very cute. No, but it's a cute fact. That's like the fact that's on like an anime character's bio. So I
With me
appreciate
like
it.
drawn as a cow next to it. Like, here's some trivia.
The only more basic trivia would be like if you gave us their blood type.
You think I know the blood type?
Obviously, it needs to be AB because there's two of them. One A, one B. Smile. So
Acerina.
Yeah. Alright, so thank you guys for listening to Aetheral Space. We'll be back with another banger. Tan just needs to update a few tiny spelling mistakes on the Royal Road, I think.
I've done it while we
And
recorded.
we should be good to go. This guy, he's so fast. Aye, aye. Alright. Also, I'm surprised you called this chapter The Green Man, but Hamilton didn't show up even a single time.
You didn't see him?
Was he Skipper?
No, he made a cameo.
He was in the background, but it wasn't mentioned in the
It
text
was like a
because it
Stan
wasn't
Lee
relevant.
cameo.
Yeah. It doesn't show up in the book, but if Aetheral Space gets an anime, you'll see a tall, lanky green man panicking and running away in the distant background. Alright. Let me end the recording now. Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Bye.